today seems a little bit dusty because once again we go to the sands of Sky Temple, and this is highly unusual for China. Oh my goodness,
it's clever of SoA though. 0% win rate for KT. They're trying to put them out of the comfort zone. This has definitely been the season of research. Teams taking each other to their lowest % win rate.
Exactly.
Maps.
And I think a lot of teams also practiced heavily in Sky Temple because they realized, hey, last season this map was rarely ever played, so if we, step our game up on this very battleground, we might have an edge over the other teams. But of course, if everyone has the same thought process, it might actually, come to no big results overall because everyone is going to be good on this map then. But we're going to find out who practiced harder, who exercised more. KT on the right-hand side. No Genji. I want to see him at that point, though. Like, I still can't believe he's that powerful.
It is weird, isn't it? The fact that we haven't seen him so much.
If we see another Garrosh ban, I'm so sad. I'm gonna be so sad.
He's gonna come out eventually. Come on, Garrosh. We've been waiting for it.
Don't betray us.
We've had so many times. That's not a Garrosh. That's an Auriel.
And that is actually a ban I like a lot. Auriel, I mean, it is kind of debatable after the recent balanced patch, but she's still such a dominant support hero. She enables so many combinations still, especially double support plus hypercarry, so taking her out of the way is always a nice thing to do.
Tahaka as the first pick for KT.
Yep.
I actually got baited during Open Division where during the last match we cast, the exact KT Bloodlust draft came up, and I was like, "There's going to be Bloodlust," and then they went Ancestral.
Aw.
Got baited super hard because Grubby was like, "No, it isn't," and I was like, "There's a precedent for this, Grubby. Go with me on this one." I was wrong though.
I mean, sometimes
China baited me.
You have to take those big risks because if it comes true, you're going to be the only guy looking like a champ, whereas the other ones are going to be like.
I've done that a couple times.
Yeah.
Sergeant Hammer at mid-season.
Was that your craziest prediction that actually came true?
No, Mind Control and Twin Blades, but that's because of knowledge of China. I predicted both of them during mid-season.
Okay.
I predicted the exact level and time, or not time, the exact minutes that CE would win at the Eastern Clash with their Braxis Sylvanas comp.
Oh boy.
But unfortunately, I wasn't at that event to do it in person. It was in the Twitch chat. It was like, they're going to win at this level at this minutes. And then they did. I was like, oh, hooray. Neat.
Shout out to Gensho, by the way, rocking a different bandana today. Beautiful, beautiful.
It's more than one bandana.
Yes. I mean, if you're rocking the dreadlocks, then it kind of fits your attire. So
I mean, it's going on one of the points of your body that's most prone to spots, the forehead. So I think that's actually, now that I think about it, that's probably one of the few things you would like many of, so that you don't get spots by wearing the same thing every day.
Yeah, exactly. So beautiful stuff coming out, but in terms of actual drafting, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. We see Arthas Tahaka, very solid front line, and it wouldn't surprise me if a KT thought about a Malthael ban for the same reasons we just mentioned in the previous series. Oh, looks like someone had a disconnect. Hopefully nothing too serious.
Yeah. Oh, they changed view to a different player. That did not help.
Oh, Q looked so shocked in the middle. Hopefully,
I'm not ready. I wasn't ready to be on camera. So there was a. I'm not going to say which game because it's not a Blizzard one. But one of my friends from the UK currently casts a different game. Finished signing off on camera, and just finished signing off on camera. The clip went to like what China has, the highlight clips of what happened in game, and their mics weren't muted, so you just hear him just go in the background, and then blow a huge raspberry. I don't know why he did it, but it was very amusing. It was very much I did not expect to be on camera or on mic.
Is that a euphemism for something like blowing a raspberry? I'm not sure if I can follow.
Blowing a raspberry? When you put up your hand to your mouth and blow to make a farting noise.
Oh, okay.
That's called blowing a raspberry in the UK.
Come on, who knew that? I've never heard that before.
I knew that. It's a British thing. Everyone knows blowing a raspberry.
Blow a raspberry. I'm not sure if you're trolling me or not, but I'm gonna try it on someone. I'm gonna try it on some American citizens.
Blowing a raspberry.
I mean, I'm gonna have to confirm with one of my fellow American casters because they invented the language after all, right? So
I'm gonna.
Okay, cool. So, why did he blow a raspberry in the first place?
I don't know why he did that. I don't mean it was with his hand anyway. It was with his mouth. I think it was just an expulsion of stress because he'd been casting for a really long time.
Okay.
So I think it was just a expulsion of stress, a deep mental tox.
Okay, so Twitch chat is confirming that blowing a raspberry is a thing in the US and North America as well. Cool.
Damn right. English language trick. I don't know where it came from. I have no idea why it's called
I have no idea. I'm not sure what raspberries have to do with farting noises.
Me neither. Do they make you fart? I don't know. Hang on.
Do raspberries...
Origin...
Maybe the person who first did it, when that person farted, it smelled like raspberries. Although that would actually be quite cool.
Blowing a raspberry comes from the Cockney rhyming slang raspberry tart for fart.
Okay.
Cockney rhyming slang is probably the worst thing the English language has ever invented. God's sake.
Can you imitate that accent?
Cockney rhyming slang?
Yeah.
Probably not. I'm trying to think of like I know like a very limited Cockney rhyming sound. Like I know apples and pears.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Which region does it derive from, the Cockney accent?
It's London.
London. Okay.
Accent. Yeah, very olden times London accent, which is weird because we're waiting for the draft to come back up again. By the way, guys.
Yeah, we're just trying to buy you guys time, right?
Yeah. There was a fun thing. That's the thing. Like, would you consider the word "ain't" to be upper or lower class?
Ain't? Like I ain't got no time?
Yeah.
Oh, that I would consider that to be lower class, but I'm pretty sure it's, now that you mention it, it was or used to be higher class.
It used to be higher class. It was a proper contraction. Wow. Where it would be used. I'm trying to remember what they said in the show where I learned this. It was like, "Are you going to Susan's soiree tonight? I won't. I shan't. I ain't." But then once the lower classes, like when the Cockneys started using it, it's like, "I ain't going either. Now we can hang out together." It's like, how vulgar! Shun. I will never use the word again.
Yeah, and it came a long way. Made it all the way to North American hip hop videos. There we go.
Indeed. Well, apparently, if we're going by the original uses of the word, North American hip hop is really posh.
Yeah. There we go.
There you go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, enough talks about British dialects and raspberry tarts. So we're now going to move on to the actual draft. Not much has changed. Of course, the teams were obligated to pick the exact same heroes in the exact same order. And we're still stuck here at the second ban. I was actually suspecting a Malthael ban for the reasons we mentioned in the previous series. Strong anti-healing, strong tank destruction. And of course, Arthas plus Dehaka, they would kind of suffer from it. Let's see what SoA is going to pick here.
Let us see indeed. As they have their considerations, they already have, a nice burst damage dealer and some CC. A noob would usually come in with something like this. In fact, a noob with either of these heroes as a first pick is quite a usual one.
Yeah. I would agree. Anubarak, very, very solid. Is it funny how China went from, we don't play Anubarak even when he was literally broken, to we're going to play him every single game despite the fact he's no longer as good as he used to be?
It's weird. It's interesting how they have shifted so much.
Yeah.
It's cool because it means that they're learning and they're... Evolving's not the right word. I don't know what the right word would be here. Learning it, improving, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they had it right all along, and they're just adjusting.
They're evolving. They're adapting. That's certainly true.
Adapting. That's the word. Dehaka's in the game. How did I not come up with adapting? What is wrong with me? So yes, it is cool to see that they are shifting and changing. Every
now and then, I would love to see a little bit of China flavor, though. These days, I think that some of the teams have become a little bit too conservative. Teams that I definitely want to exclude from this phenomenon is are SPT and CE though, because I still think they kind of have their own twist to the way they draft and make it work.
That is true. They very much do. Like you said, very few teams still have that twist, have that flair. CE, I would say, still do. SPT on very odd occasion.
Yeah,
now
like the Medivh yesterday, and they make it work too, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Like the Cho'Gall Medivh, it was so good yesterday.
I mean, that was the game they won. They lost the standard game.
Yeah.
Stop playing standard, SPT. It's clearly not working.
Yeah, sometimes you need to break through the chains of convention, right? And you basically need to invent something new or just surprise and catch your opponents off guard. So
yeah, to quote the great poet and prophet of our time, Chris Jericho from WWE, break the walls down, break down the wall. You go
there we go. Chris Jericho is a name I even know, and I'm not a big wrestling fanatic. So
he's a legend at this point. He's been around for ages.
There's some names you can't forget, like Ric Flair. Who else do I recognize? Hulk Hogan,
John
obviously.
Cena.
John Cena.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me. Once the draft is finished, I'm just gonna like read off some wrestling names, like some old, some new, and we'll see like how widely spread wrestling is. Because you're a non-wrestling fan. We have as the last pick. Malthael does come in. Nicely done.
Yeah, I think if I take a look at SoA's draft on the left-hand side here, I really think they completely nailed it. They've got a couple of beautiful counters. Whereas, you know, KT's draft doesn't look bad per se. It's just that I think their draft is too generic. Whereas SoA's draft is generic, but it also deals with what KT brought to the table.
I would agree. We will have to see if it is enough to work. Both of these drafts could work. I would actually argue KT's is potentially easier to execute.
True.
So we will have to see. Right, random wrestling names. Macho Man Randy Savage.
I know him.
You've already said Ric Flair, John Cena.
Yep.
The Shield.
Nope.
Oh yeah, they're a more recent one. Goldberg.
Oh, I remember that one. He was the one who charged into people with his head first. Giving them a
he did WrestleMania. He did WrestleMania last year.
Oh, is he still actively participating? Or?
No, he came back for a one-time tour versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, by the way.
Remember him?
Yeah,
dude, I remember a lot of names.
He did a one-time thing versus Brock Lesnar and beat him in just over a minute. It was amazing, and then they fought at WrestleMania. The Undertaker.
Yep. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Kane.
Nope.
Roman Reigns.
I only remember Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon, that's good. Diesel.
There we go.
Diesel.
I think I do. We gotta get going, Tetra.
You got a good selection of the oldies.
Yeah.
So let's head in, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 1 of SoA versus Kudos Top. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's get down to it. On the left-hand side, start over again with Faye on Malthael, Uncle G on Uther, TY on the Grey Mane, Spark BZ on a Nubrak, and Molly is on the Falstad.
And unlike Grubby, who just resubscribed, thank you very much, dude. Yes. I know what Molly means and refers to. So thank you very much, KT, for joining us here as well. T-Dye on the Karazim, Necho on the Dahaka, Gunshuo on his Rhaegar, Dahaka being played by and Arthas being played by Butcher. Sorry, we're gonna catch up. C-Ink on the Vala, and who's Dahaka? I don't wanna. Come on, just show him.
Save it.
Give it to me.
You can do it.
Neptune!
Neptune!
Actually, the team captain. The team captain. There we go.
Indeed. Immediately finds a Nubrak. Zerg a Nubrak versus Zerg Dahaka. And it's a Nubrak who falls.
Yeah, actually, very strong showing here.
Goodbye.
I just don't understand, Teacher, how teams still do that. When you have an Arthas enemy team, you're not supposed to run and charge right into him as a 5-man unit because he's going to slow everybody and you're not going to get away unless you have some means mobility. And SoA basically fell for that exact same trap that many teams in China actually, you know, like to fall for.
Yes, they did, and KT showing that just all-in aggression early on because they knew they had the better 5v5, and as such, able to pick up at first 2 kills. Should be 1, but they managed to achieve 2.
Really solid. Let's take a look at the level 1 talents here. No major surprises, unless, of course, TY here on the Grey Main likes to go for a similar hybrid build like Loctar did in the last series with picking a couple of cocktail talents and then going full combat mode with auto attack. That was kind of weird, yeah.
Well, either way, we're hoping to have our first non-1-1 of the day today in this series, or of the entire season, I guess, as we do see nice little poking from C-Ink onto Fei, forcing him back.
And this little skirmish basically showed how you can beat a Malthael in lane. For any melee hero, it's always going to be a little bit of a challenge, but if you put a ranged hero, or maybe just a double lane, against him, he can definitely be bested. So heroes like Vala, Tychus, Falstad, those are all really, really good counters to Malthael because they can normally outdance him and just, you know, stay out of his range and just poke him down very slowly but surely.
Very true. Also, I'm going to make a commitment here. First team that actually gets a 2-0, I will buy their banner if I don't already own it.
I'm going to join you. Let's go all out.
Yeah, I will buy all their cheer stuff if they are able to get to TY going down. KT looking to be the ones to claim more money as they are able to achieve Uncle G as well.
You know, the way SoA plays right now, it reminds me of the early stages of Wrath of the Lich King, where nobody knew how to play against Arthas. You just died over and over again unless you figured it out. So, just don't walk into the frozen stuff. You know, just don't get slowed, don't overextend, and don't get exposed. Already a 1-level lead this early on for KT. That is huge.
They have 4 kills, 1-level lead. You can see their structures are still a little bit lower. Top took a battering from that temple. Yeah. So they are slightly behind there, but overall they are still ahead. And right now they're looking for an aggressive and risky raid, but T-Dye able to dodge the second Anubrak stun and put himself out of danger.
Oh, absolutely, and you brought up a really good point as well. The top lane is kind of important because if you manage to demolish the enemy team's defense lines, your bruiser camp is likely going to get more value than the enemies because they don't have to pass through all those towers and gates anymore. Now though, we see Sparkly going in, not really getting a whole lot done, seeing just so well protected by that double support combination, and it's kind of an unusual one as well. Like Kharazim Rhaegar is normally not what you want to go for with a Vala. You're normally used to seeing a lot of Tassadar, a lot of Oriel, maybe Uther, but so far it really seems to work like a charm.
I'm digging it. It's definitely the burstiest double support setup.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Go for, other than maybe Uther because of the CC, but I'm super digging it. And the fact is, Kharazim is very much like a melee assassin with heals. If you built him like this, so I'm super down for it. I would have maybe preferred the Alufal build just for that reason, actually.
Yeah, the Alufal build, of course, that Tetra is talking about revolves around Insight at level 1, and then you go triple dash. You can go
damage. Actually, I changed my mind.
Yeah, it's not dealing as much damage, but it certainly brings a lot of utility. You can go for the movement speed increase. You can go for the race car Kharazim build as well. But so far, only Alufal really seems to have mastered this variation of Kharazim. Other people are not brave enough to follow suit.
Yeah, only seems to work on certain maps in certain scenarios, but that's why we love Alufal, because he's able to figure that out.
Exactly.
Now, Butcher holding the line in the mid lane. Dahaka holding the line in the top lane, but not very well, because top is dying. Whereas all the shots are being taken in bot, and as such, this will be a fort raid, top to bot.
Yeah, they do have a lot of auto attack damage, which is normally the one type of damage you want to rely on when pushing for buildings, because it's way more consistent, it's faster, it doesn't need to rely on cooldowns. So that's why heroes like Vala, for example, are way stronger at pushing buildings, like let's say a Kalthas or a Jaina, and that's why heroes like Illidan normally always win the race as well. So if you happen to, oh my goodness, Neptune, you gotta be a little bit careful there, buddy.
Indeed, the healing reduction preventing a lot of his self-healing to defend this. They're still going. They're still pushing this. Here comes Dahaka after being back, but everyone's here. It's a 4v5 fight at the enemy base at 5 minutes as Butcher is getting focused. Karazim desperately trying to catch up, but he can't get into range. Dahaka comes to the wall. Give him a place to dash to. There we go. 7-sided will give him safe. Oh, too close to the wall. Actually, couldn't make it over, but he still got out.
Yeah, level 10 was so close, and I think that's why KT played the way they did, you know, super aggressively, but they totally underestimated the fact that they were one player down, and if that's Rhaegar, one of your main healing sources, you know, you want to be a little bit more careful.
I think they underestimated the possibility of the enemy team being on their side of the map as 5 at 5 minutes with level 10.
True.
No one expects that, pre-level 10 actually. Someone went in before they had level 10 as 5 onto the enemy side of the map when they had level 10. That is risky, to say the least. Yeah, but it worked out for them. It
was also one of the rare moments where you can actually actively look for a fight 9 versus 10 when you know that the enemy team still has 1 or 2 players dealing with the map objective. Normally, it's never a good idea, but in this rare scenario, it was a beautiful decision by SoA to take that fight and close the XP gap a little bit more. But normally, when you play Hero League or Team League, it's not worth imitating because not always will you have that perfect communication and decision making.
Warning, these players are professionals performing a close course. Do not try this at home.
Exactly. Alright.
Guy taking some damage, having to dash to freedom.
So, a little bit of pressure applied here in that bottom lane. The temple, of course, had been used before, but still, they should deal with these siege giants. Actually, if you're a support in this kind of situation, you could consider healing the mercenaries, because you just want to keep applying the pressure here. Oh my goodness, that was an early cocoon. It is on Karazim. Can they get him? Every stun needs to land right now.
Rhaegar has Ancestral. Dahaka coming in. Isolates Uther. An easy escape by Neptune and T-Dive. Beautifully executed. And now they're looking to try and capitalize off it. Not able to do so. They burned 2 heroics for that safe, that escape.
Yeah,
he's using an Easter banner.
Yeah, Easter banner. Rip, never forget. Let's put it this way.
Both teams have their own banners.
Yeah,
they
use them.
That respect, Dahaka burrowing down. Neptune getting
no way!
He lives! Gets him out. Here comes the Tormented Souls with the Divine Shield. You can see the health bars beginning to dip, but Faye is so isolated. Uther charging forward. Gust putting everyone actually in a bit of a safer position for KT.
Yeah.
Boss is aggro, not what you want to see right now, and we will see Uncle G being the only one to die in this.
Yeah, this was a very reckless approach by Faye. I don't think he should have gotten in that much. Basically, forcing his team to commit, as otherwise Malthael would have died. And this is a beautiful call by KT. They literally saw how everyone on the side of SoA used flight, how they moved towards the top temple location. They were like, you know what? We still have time to get value from the bottom temple. Why just not go for the boss in the meantime and get even more done? So spot on decision making, but also SoA, they should have left 1 or 2 members there to just have a little bit of vision over there, don't you think?
I think so, maybe. I'm not sure who would be safe enough to do so, though. It would have to be a
Nubrak could do it easily.
Yeah, Butcher just failing to micro out of range of the Temple Guardian there. Now we see many members of SoA, including Malthael, who has a lovely percentage damage, beginning to work down the boss.
Yeah. They have, you know, at least Malthael in their ranks, dealing significant amounts of damage onto that boss. It's actually not getting that much done. It's just, you know, providing a little bit of a distraction here. It is actually debatable whether KT should have maybe considered pushing alongside the boss, since they also have 13 advantage. So they could have left, let's say, Dahaka at the temple, who could then have joined later on. So maybe a little bit of a wasted opportunity.
Quite possibly. Seeing with the rest of his team just completely tearing through this Bruiser camp, going to put some pressure on the top lane, because the SoA Bruiser camp is not even close to available yet.
True.
Instead, they're doing their Siege Giant camp, which KT will do in kind, so those two will bash into each other unless SoA can come in for the steal, which they're going to attempt here. Dahaka is not here yet, but he can burrow.
He could use the Brush Stalker for sure, but so far he prefers to stay in top lane instead. Here he comes, Arthas and Dahaka in the front end. The Cocoon is done, though.
Isolation on Uncle G, but good Ancestral, but the healing reduction means it doesn't get that much value. Tormented Souls doing a good job, but Arthas doesn't seem to care. He's wading through, holding the line here. unable to survive. Gust having to be used. The campers not taken yet. Here's the drag onto Malthael, but everyone's dying here. Incredible job by Greymane in the backline. Finally, Malthael is dropped, but the Greymane has shredded through this fight. Nice kill by Seeing.
So much value being done by Faye on his Malthael, single-handedly zoning everyone out of that team fight, applying so much AoE damage at the same time. And it is actually quite admirable and respectable that KT managed to get 2 kills in return, because at the beginning of this fight, we can see it once again here in the replay. Look at the Malthael value. So strong. Divine Shield protected him before that. Or is it going to get cast after? We're going to find out in a bit. The Ancestor Healing, as you said, reduced value because of that anti-healing. Dehaka, so much healing wasted and lost. And Faye here on the platform, holding it like a champ. The Gust was good as well to further stop and slow down the focus fire on Malthael, but still, 1 or 2 kills here on the side of KT. They salvaged the situation quite handsomely. Greymane in particular, TY, overextending a little bit. So the game is dead even right now.
Yeah, Greymane did die, but he also picked up all 3 of those kills, getting the last hits on all of them. So beautifully done, but a little bit too greedy at the end there. Very clutch move by Seeing to pick up that kill. And that was ET die being forced to dash away.
Yeah, so you're not 16. Just be a little bit more patient. Of course, they knew that Dehaka wasn't there. But still, you want to be very careful with those Anubrak engages, because once you use the bird charge, you're kind of committed. 16 will be here now soon, though. Just need to get it. Burning Rage, by the way, on the side of Anubrak, even more AoE damage.
Yep, a little bit of AoE. He doesn't have any Locust Swarm or any other sustain here, so he is just, other than the Burrow Shield, so he's relying on that. Immediately going in, the double shield dropped immediately. T-Die dashing to Gentrol, try to get him out. Nice escape there. Dehaka is a bit too deep here. Burrows to keep himself alive, but is killed off by Greymane once again. And now it's Arthur's getting focused. The double healing Ancestral is there, but the healing reduction from Malthael was active. Beautifully executed. Perfect play by Faye.
Yeah, that was almost another reckless Greymane death here, because TY went a little bit too deep. But this time, a clean triple kill on the side of SoA. And my personal MVP of that fight was Falstad. That Gust basically made sure that Rehgar was not in range to drop a life-saving Ancestor Healing on Dehaka. He fell first. Of course, it was easy for Faye on the Malthael to kill him afterwards. So, beautiful coordination. And, it's starting to look like KT is falling under the pressure. They're starting to crumble here. And SoA, despite a wonky early game, acting up very, very big. Another replay. Look at that mighty Gust Tetcher. It's going to take a bit. Yeah, it's going to take a bit.
The Gust was beautiful when it does happen. You can see huge damage. Immediately after that Burrow happens, the Gust is dropped. Perfectly done. Now watch out for Malthael. Look how quickly he activates that healing reduction.
Oh, that was so well
the
done. Ancestral animation begins, healing reductions on, and Butcher is just too low health to sustain. That is
Malthael has done this
smart.
consistently this game, always holding that healing reduction till Ancestral.
You know, it's very tempting to just press it at the beginning of the fight, because when the fight is about to commence, you just want to make sure to blow all of your cooldowns into the enemy's face. But that is the good sign, or the indicator of a real pro player. Adjusting to the team fight, having a keen eye on important cooldowns on the enemy team's side. As you said, they waited for the wind-up animation of the Ancestor Healing, and then just one click, one button click, and the value was reduced by 50%. Huge deal, and SoA continues to get value from that Malthael pick.
Yes, they do. Beautifully done so far by SoA. They are ahead in terms of XP. They were behind for a while. KT, not out of it yet, though. They're still only a level behind, on less than a full XP level behind.
Can you imagine in, 3 or 4 weeks' time, if KT plays a Kel'Thuzad-Kel'Thuz combo?
The KT.
Yeah?
I'm quite a fan.
Quite a fan. Want to see it?
I'm super down. This sounds amazing. We can hope. They're both mages, though, sorta.
Yeah, I mean, the current meta, I think I read an article on Team Liquid the other day, interviewing, European players. Yeah. And they were saying that the current meta doesn't really favor a lot of mages, right? So that's the reason why we don't see a lot of Kel'Thuz, Jaina, Gul'dan, Chromie every now and then, but it's not really a common pick either. And it never really occurred to me. I was never really having the impression of, hey, where'd all the mages go? Only after reading that interview with Chris and Darkmog and all the other guys, I was like, yeah, they actually do have a point. The current meta does not favor mages as heavily.
Chromie and Li Ming. Those are the two who are surviving. Kael'Thas on very odd occasion. Jaina just doesn't exist. But with the super hard CC and some of the supports having cleanse removed, mages are just too vulnerable.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, that Jaina also is about to receive a pretty significant rework. Some changes applied to her ice block and the way it works, with a quest trait, if you will. So I'm very excited to see whether those changes and the introduction of Kel'Thuzad are going to have an impact on the meta, and maybe we're going to see more mages in the future again. I would certainly embrace it.
We will have to see. It would be cool, but for now we have to wait and see. So, this time it's going to be SoA grabbing the boss. They have Gus, they have everything they need to secure this.
20.
Cocoon.
Yeah, they got the 20.
Yeah. Easy boss. In the meantime, though, Dahaka is taking shots onto that top lane, and that is going to be nice, but he will need to be back and defend this. It's going to be a 5-man level 20 push.
Oh, surprise!
No, the backline Gust focusing onto Genjuo here. Karazim's nowhere near. Divine Shield on Greymane, shredding through. One's in a Cocoon. T-Dye's alone here, taking so much poison. He's dropped. Cocoon pops in his Butcher, but what's he going to do? He can't do anything. Down he goes, and it's just Neptune left. He gets the spreading silence. 1v5, trying desperately to save it, but he can't do it.
They needed that 10 seconds earlier, Neptune. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well played.
Yeah, that was just, you know, sleepiness on the side of KT. I mean, SoA takes this game very well deserved, but you gotta ask yourselves, how many times as a pro team have you played against a Falstad? You need to know that there is always the possibility, after level 20, especially with the Epic Mount, for Falstad to fly behind you, expose yourself, and when a boss is pushing, come on guys, you need to stay behind the keep. You need to wait for them to arrive, and if need be, let the keep fall. Defend the core, don't lose the game. So, a little bit of sleepiness on the side of KT.
Even without the Gust, I think they were too far forward.
Yes.
I honestly, their positioning was not a team that is about to have to defend for their lives. It was a team of, oh, we'll just clear without any issues. No, bad form there by KT, in my opinion.